What's going on, guys? It's Greg Fowler from the Wise Guys, aka Pegasus. And before we jump into the video, I want to say I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Chill Sundays, man. Every Sunday we do something chill, talk about something unrelated to Yu-Gi-Oh. This time it's a little bit related to Yu-Gi-Oh. It's about money, man. I think a lot of the times we don't have plans. So I'm not a financial planner. I'm not a super duper expert on business. I do have a bachelor's degree in business, whatever that means. So I do have a little bit. I do know a little bit of what I'm talking about, but just basic stuff, man. We all have to have a financial budget. We have to have a plan. We have a financial plan. So a financial plan is a budget. I think we have to measure what's inflowing and what's outflowing. So a lot of times in Yu-Gi-Oh, we all get a little bit screwy. A new deck comes out, it's fire. Like Zoo when it dropped and people were spending hundreds of dollars. You know how Bosch was when it dropped. People were spending $100 on a Cyber Dragon Infinities or Strikes or whatever the case may be, man. You know how it is with these cards. But that can impact your inflow and your outflow and mess your whole budget up. So I think what I would recommend first thing, is having a budget, at least trying to control yourself. I don't really spend money on cards like that anymore. Maybe $5 for the tournament a week. That's all I'm spending. Not that I'm some super duper expert. This is just me trying to help somebody out. So if this video gets 10,000 dislikes and gets one like, then it was worth it for me because one person was affected by it. But yeah, financial plan. You always have to. Your inflow should always be more than your outflow. This is really, really basic business stuff. Just is what it is. If you're spending a lot of money on, we all have needs. So let's break down the needs. We all have a need for food, transportation, shelter, clothing, and health. I guess health could be in there. With food, I think sometimes I almost spit on myself a little bit. I think food, that's one where maybe you and your girl eat out somewhere every week, and you get used to eating Subway every day, or going to Pizza Hut or whatever it is. We all kind of do that, but every day it can start to affect your money and how your money is flowing, and when the outflow starts being more than the inflow, then you start screwing yourself over. So this is just little stuff, We all need food. It's a basic need. But do we need to go to Fogo de Chow's one day? It's a restaurant in Kansas City, and then the next night to Subway, and the next night sometimes you just got to buy your food and bring it home, Just little stuff like that, yeah. I'm just kind of shooting from the hip. I think we all have a need for shelter. Me and a buddy were talking about this. We were talking about this. With shelter, people can't make it like that anymore, man. Like the way that the economy is set up now, it's not like it was when our parents were kids. Our parents could be 22 and just shoot straight from. They could shoot straight from one job. You could have a stay-at-home mom on a part-time job, and you can make it and live happily in America. It's not like that anymore, man. It's just not. If anybody knows the struggle, it's a modern struggle where both people can be working their entire asses off. So I'm being honest with you. You can work your entire ass off and not make it. That's how it is, especially places like California. I know how it is. I got friends in California. They tell me how it is. I'm blessed to. I feel like I have it easy in Missouri, and it's really not that easy here either. So whatever you can do to alleviate yourself with shelter, whether that's Airbnb, have an Airbnb at your house, have a roommate, whatever you need to do to alleviate yourself, you got to do it, man. A lot of us like our solitude and stuff like that. Some of us like having, a roommate, and it can open yourself up to more problems and stuff like that. But when it's commonsensical stuff and you know that you would get along with somebody, try it. Don't mess a friendship up or nothing like that. But, try it. I think was another one I said. I said clothing. Clothing is one I think a lot of us had a problem with. You know, shout out to the sponsor, by the way. You know, I don't, you know, I hardly pay for my clothing anymore. But you know what I'm talking about with Jordans and LeBrons and KD shoes and your girls buying Dolce and Gabbana and you know, blah 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 blah. You have to. We all have our vices. You know, we all got something we want to spend our money on. Yu-Gi-Oh is one of them. If you're on this page, but we have to have it in moderation. You can't have stuff where you just lose your mind and just blow money and have a room full of Jordans. You know, like I remember seeing a special on Colin Kaepernick. Not to be, I don't care about anything with his life, but he had like a whole room full of shoes. And also, I have a friend that he lives comfortably, but you know, he ain't making money like Colin Kaepernick, and he has a room full of shoes that could rival his. We all have our vices. We all have something. You know, he could say, "Well, man, you play Yu-Gi-Oh, shut up." You have to be able to check yourself on whatever that you enjoy. So a lot of times when I'm playing Yu-Gi-Oh, I don't really buy sets like that. Like that's why I didn't do a box opening on this newest Battles of Legend Heroes Revenge because I didn't want anything really, but I wasn't gonna blow my money completely on a hobby. I love Yu-Gi-Oh. I love all my friends in Yu-Gi-Oh. But I'm not about to spend as much money as people used to spend on stuff like Zoo when it came out. I've never spent that kind of money. It's a trading card game first. Always remember that. Was another one I said health. I think food directly impacts health. You know, if you're eating, you know, if you're eating a euro and then Subway and then pizza and then you know if you're blowing money like that anyway in your outflow you're gonna make yourself broke anyway and you're gonna make yourself unhealthy and you know I don't nobody eats like super great all the time either you know I know I don't I eat like crap all the time you know but we have to have that in moderation as well so I think moderation I guess really matters I think with transportation this is one where I say your health and your transportation, man. Don't get a clunker. Don't get a piece of crap. Get something comfortable for yourself. I used to always look up to my grandma. You know, she's still living. You know, knock on wood, thank God. But she's always drove a Cadillac. So I had to modify myself. You know, a couple years ago, I had a Corvette Stingray. You know, I had a really cool. If you know what a Corvette Stingray is, dope car, love it but it started to turn the corner where it was costing me a lot of money for no reason. And I had to check myself and say, I've been in this car for 4 or 5 years. I like having land more than I like having a car. So I have to check myself. You know, that just is what it is, man. All this stuff is just moderating yourself to be able to understand it. I'm not a financial advisor. This is just me talking trying to throw something out there. If this video gets 10,000 dislikes and 1 like, then I'm doing what I meant to do. And I was trying to spread some kind of knowledge. Lastly, I think we all have to realize this is a cashless society. It's about to really be a cashless society, which you probably have no idea what I'm talking about, or maybe you do. But it's moving to where we don't even see the money that leaves our hands and comes into our hands and then leaves again, you know, whether you sell cards and do PayPal, stuff like that. Keep up with your money. Keep up with your money. That's one thing that the generations that were before us, they did way better than us. They did way better than us. They were able to facilitate how their money moved a lot easier. Granted, it was a lot easier, you know, they didn't have the thing to deal with the things that we do, but at the same time, we have to realize that we don't see our money the same way, you know, where your grandparents' parents would get a bank statement and look at it and would know if a penny was missing. We're not so good at that same thing. So you have to be able to know, you know, if you have automatic withdrawals or whatever, you have to know, hey, you know, 100% of my paycheck is $1,200 these 2 weeks. So I know that 30% of that is going to be gone. So this other, you know, whatever that is, fast math, you know, if it's 1,000, I know if I'm going to spend $300 on bills, just using an example, I know this other 700, I got to moderate it or I can screw myself up. So again, we do this on Sunday where we just talk about random topics and we just chill out This is Chill Sundays. Appreciate you guys tuning in. We're at 1,000, man. Appreciate you guys for being subscribers to our channel. Look for the video about the Riser Dragon to be shared on Triff's channel. One caveat: the synchro combo with Riser Dragon. Make sure I mention this. You can't make clear wing because it takes a dark pendulum, and I didn't realize that till after I uploaded it, and it was like, whatever. I could just put that in the comments below. You can't make Crystron Phoenix though, and that's the main reason why we did the combo. You basically modify that combo to do any level 8. So yeah, appreciate you guys tuning in, man. I'm signing out. YG baby.